So, I want you to try and picture a scene for a second.
Okay.
It is spring, 2024.
Right.
You are sitting in a middle school classroom somewhere in the United States. It's a Tuesday, maybe 10:00 a.m.
Prime time for kids to be, completely unfocused.
Exactly. And the teacher, who is probably just exhausted and frankly counting down the days to summer break, said something totally normal. They say, all right, everyone, please open your textbooks, page 67.
And chaos just completely ensues.
Instant total derailment. The room just erupts.
Yeah.
Kids are laughing. They're pointing at each other. Some are literally wiping tears from their eyes. They're laughing so hard.
It's just losing it.
And the teacher's just standing there completely baffled. Like, they check the book. Is there a typo? Is there, some kind of inappropriate picture on the page?
Nope. Just a page number.
Exactly. It's literally just a number. But to these students, it is the funniest thing in the world. And that disconnect, the confused adult and the hysterically laughing child, is exactly what we're going to be digging into for today's deep dive.
Because it's not just about a prank.
No, it's so much bigger than a prank.
It really is a perfect case study in how meaning gets constructed, how it gets destroyed, and eventually how it gets monetized.
Right, because we are talking about the 6-7 phenomenon.
Yes.
And to help us understand it, we are looking at this really fascinating and, frankly, kind of dense case study by Dr. Bandaru Srinivasa Rao.
Yeah, titled Marketing Without Meaning.
Marketing Without Meaning. It is a great paper.
It is fantastic paper.
But it asks this really weird question, which is, how did two digits 6 and 7, stripped of all logical meaning, become the most important viral marketing lesson of the year?
Right, because usually viral trends have they have some kind of content to them.
Yeah, funny cat video, a dance move, a catchphrase. But this is just math.
Well, it's math that stopped being math. And that is the key here. To really understand 6-7, we have to look at linguistics, we have to look at the psychology of cool, and we have to look at how corporate America eventually tried to hijack the whole thing.
Right.
And we've got 3 specific brand case studies to get through today.
Which I am so excited for.
Oh, yeah. We have one that absolutely nailed it, one that failed miserably, and one that just sort of stumbled into success by total accident.
I really want to get to the corporate failures because they are just delicious.
Right.
But we should probably start with the origin.
We should.
Where does this actually come from? Because things don't usually just appear out of thin air.
No, they don't. It wasn't thin air, but it's pretty close. Dr. Rao traces this back to early 2024.
Okay.
To this really minor rap track called Dude Doot 67.
I've never heard of it.
I mean, most people haven't. It was super obscure. The production was very lo-fi. The lyrics were entirely forgettable.
Right.
But it had this hook where the artist just repeated 6-7 in this very specific cadence. And for whatever reason, that hook just stuck with Generation Alpha and the younger side of Gen Z.
Okay, so it starts out as just a reference.
Right.
You sing the line, you signal to your friends that you know the song.
Yeah.
That's, standard in-group behavior.
Initially, yes, exactly. But this is where the linguistic side of things gets really interesting.
Okay.
Because within weeks, the trend moved over to TikTok and YouTube Shorts. But the context didn't move with it.
Oh, interesting.
The song just fell away. The artist fell away.
So the reference got completely severed from the source material.
Completely. It evolved so that you didn't even need to know the song to participate. You didn't even need to know it was a song in the first place.
You just needed to say the numbers.
Right. You just needed to know that saying 6-7 was the correct, cool response to a pause in conversation.
But that seems so, I don't know, empty.
Yeah.
I mean, usually slang means something, right? Like Riz means charisma. Cap means lie. What does 6-7 actually mean?
And then that is the big aha moment in Dr. Rao's paper. He introduces this concept called semantic bleaching.
Semantic bleach?
Yeah, it's a linguistic term. It happens when a word or phrase is used so frequently or, recontextualized so aggressively that it actually loses its specific factual meaning.
And becomes what?
It becomes purely functional.
Give me a non-numerical example, just so I can wrap my head around it.
Okay, think about the word literally.
Okay.
Historically, that means in a literal manner.
Exactly.
Actually.
Right.
But if I walk in the room and I say, man, I literally died laughing.
You are not reporting a medical fact.
Right. I'm not a ghost. I am using it for emphasis.
Okay, so the word has been bleached of its factual definition.
Exactly. It's been bleached to become an intensifier. Or think about the word awesome.
Oh, yeah.
It used to mean inspiring terror. or awe, like
Yeah.
literally full of awe.
And now it just means, hey, thanks for the bagel. Okay, I follow that. I get bleaching. But 6'7" isn't an adjective. It's a number.
Right?
How do you bleach a number? Because a number is like the most rigid thing there is. 6 is 6, 7 is 7.
And that is exactly why Dr. Rao calls this total or extreme bleaching. Because 6'7" didn't just shift its meaning. It abandoned meaning entirely.
Wow.
It became what semioticians call a floating signifier.
A floating signifier.
Yeah. It's a symbol that isn't anchored to anything at all. Its meaning isn't fixed.
Okay.
And because it's not fixed, its power actually comes from that void. When a kid in that classroom yells 6'7", they aren't conveying information to the teacher.
They are conveying affiliation to the other kids.
Precisely. It is a binary signal. It means I am in the club. Are you?
Right. It conveys zero information but 100% belonging.
It's basically a handshake disguised as speech.
Which totally explains why the teacher is so confused in that scenario. They are looking for information like, page 67, but the students are hearing a social cue.
And that friction, that adult confusion, is actually what fueled the fire. This brings us to phase 2 of Dr. Rao's analysis, which he calls institutional friction.
Because there is literally nothing that makes a teenager want to do something more than an adult telling them to stop doing it.
Oh, 100%. But there's a nuance here that's important. Dr. Rao talks about the Streisand effect in the context of school administration.
Right. The Streisand effect being when trying to hide something just draws more attention to it.
Exactly. So principals started officially banning the number. Teachers would literally skip from page 66 to page 68 in their books.
Which is just wild to think about.
Right. But all it does is create earned scarcity.
Earned scarcity.
Yeah. If the principal says no saying 6'7", suddenly saying it becomes this ultimate act of rebellion.
It becomes high-value currency.
Exactly. But then you have the other side of the coin, which Dr. Rao says is even more fatal to a trend, the co-optation trap.
Oh, no. This is when the adults try to join in, isn't it?
It is. This is when schools started putting 6'7" on bulletin boards for Spirit Week. You know, show your 6'7" spirit.
Oh, just hearing that makes my skin crawl. That is awful.
It is the ultimate cringe. But why is it cringe? Dr. Rao argues it's because it violates the immune system of the subculture.
The immune system?
Yeah. The entire point of this slang is that it creates an us versus them boundary.
Right.
So if they, meaning the teachers, the parents, the administration, if they start using it, the boundary dissolves.
The joke isn't funny anymore because the joke actually was the exclusion.
Precisely. The adults ruin it by trying to understand it.
Or by trying to use it.
Yeah.
Which I guess brings us to the main event here.
Yeah.
Corporate America.
Here we go.
Because by late 2024, this thing is massive online.
Yeah.
And naturally, brands want a piece of the action because attention is money.
Right. But the question is, how do you monetize a number that inherently means nothing?
Right.
Dr. Rao presents 3 case studies, and they're fascinating because they show 3 completely different understandings of human psychology.
Okay, let's start with the winner. Case A, the athletic apparel brand.
Yes. This is the gold standard. Dr. Rao calls their strategy silent participation.
Walk us through. What do they do?
So they released a limited capsule collection. We're talking high-end streetwear, socks, and hoodies.
Okay.
And all they did was print 6'7" on the ankle of the sock and on the inside label of the hoodie.
That's it.
That's literally it. But the execution is what really matters here. They didn't issue a press release. They didn't put up a billboard saying, you know, get your 6'7" gear.
Right.
They just posted a single captionless photo of the product on social media.
That seems incredibly risky. I mean, imagine being in that boardroom.
Oh, yeah.
Pitching that. Hey, we want to print a random number on our very expensive socks and not tell anyone why.
The CMO must have been terrified.
Terrified that nobody would get it.
I'm sure there was massive internal pushback because it violates the first rule of traditional marketing, which is communicate your value. But they stuck to it. And the result, the collection sold out in 6 hours.
Wow.
And the resale value on StockX tripled within a week.
That is insane. Why did that work so well when the Spirit Week bulletin board failed so hard?
Semantic restraint.
Semantic restraint. Okay.
By not explaining it, the brand treated the audience like insiders. They didn't say, hey, kids, look at us. We know what 6'7" means.
Right.
They just essentially whispered 6'7" and waited for the audience to nod back.
It's respectful. It assumes the audience is smart enough to figure it out.
Exactly. It creates this conspiracy of cool, like we know that you know that we know.
I love that. Okay, so now contrast that with case B, the fast food chain.
Oh, the train wreck.
The complete disaster.
Yeah. Dr. Rao calls this one explained participation.
Okay.
They put 67 on their cups and their takeout bags.
Which, I mean, on its own might have been okay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe if they had just stopped there. But they didn't stop there.
Of course not.
They printed a hashtag right on the bag. Hashtag what's the 67 story. And then, the final nail in the coffin. A spokesperson for the brand actually gave an interview to a major newspaper explaining the campaign.
I actually have the quote right here from the deep dive source. They said, 67 is about connection across generations, a language young people are creating for themselves.
It physically hurts to hear it.
It is so earnest.
Mm.
But why is it so bad from a marketing perspective?
Because it explains the joke.
Right.
Dr. Rao is very explicit about this rule. He says, the moment a brand explains the joke, it has killed the joke.
Wow.
But even deeper than that, the explanation they gave was just flat out wrong. They projected this super heartwarming meaning of connection onto something that was explicitly designed to be meaningless.
So they tried to fill the void.
Exactly, and the audience vehemently rejected it.
Like a bad organ transplant.
Yeah, it's like dissecting a frog. You might finally understand how it works, but the frog is dead.
Right.
The sales uplift for the fast food chain was absolutely zero. And actually, sentiment analysis showed a massive negative spike online.
Because people felt like they ruined it.
Yes. People were actively accusing them of ruining the meme.
It's literally the how do you do fellow kids meme come to life.
100%.
Okay, so silence is good, explanation is bad.
Right.
But then we have case C, the streaming service. And this one is tricky, right? Because it wasn't really a planned strategy at all.
No, it wasn't. This is what Dr. Rao calls the authenticity paradox.
Right.
So a user tweets at this major streaming service complaining about buffering. They're like, why is my video stopping?
Standard customer service complaint.
Right. And a junior social media manager who is probably just tired or bored.
Or both.
Or both. They just replied to the tweet with 6-7.
Wait, no apology? No link to the help desk?
Nope. Just the digits.
And what happened?
A viral explosion.
Of course.
It was retweeted thousands of times. It got cited in Adweek as this genius masterclass in brand voice. They gained 340,000 followers just from that one interaction.
Because it felt so real?
Because it was real. It was completely impulsive. It was a real human being breaking the corporate script for a second.
Right.
But here is where the paradox part comes in. Management sees this massive success.
Uh-oh.
They're high-fiving each other in the boardroom, and then they try to operationalize it.
Oh, you can't operationalize that.
They literally held meetings about how to be more spontaneous and how to use 6-7 in future customer interactions.
Let me guess. It did not work the second time.
Flatlining. Total failure.
Why?
Because the audience could smell the strategy. You just can't schedule spontaneity.
Right.
The first time, it felt like a glitch in the matrix. It was cool. The second time, it was just another ad.
That is such a tough lesson for a corporation to swallow. The idea that, you can succeed, but only if you don't actually try to succeed.
Yeah, it's nearly impossible to replicate on purpose because it requires a lack of control that most big companies simply cannot tolerate.
Wow. So Dr. Rao takes all of this, the phenomenal successes, the embarrassing failures, and he builds this framework, the belonging meaning matrix.
Yes.
Now, I usually hate those 2x2 corporate matrices, but this one actually really clarified things for me.
It is surprisingly useful. So imagine a chart. The x-axis is meaning.
Okay.
That's how much factual information is actually in the message. And the y-axis is belonging.
Meaning how much it signals, I am part of the tribe.
Exactly.
Okay, walk us through the quadrants so we can picture it.
All right, so top right is high meaning, high belonging. These are your big heritage brands. Think Patagonia or Harley Davidson.
Okay.
You know exactly what they stand for. That's the high meaning.
Yeah.
And wearing their gear makes you part of a very specific lifestyle. That's the high belonging.
Got it. That makes sense.
Now look at the bottom left. Low meaning, low belonging. This is essentially junk.
Generic commodities.
Right, like a standard paperclip. It doesn't tell you anything, and you certainly don't feel special holding it. Top left is high meaning, low belonging. This is usually utility-based stuff, like a government warning sign or a really dense instruction manual. Lots of info, zero sense of community.
And so 6-7 sits in the bottom right.
Exactly. Low meaning, high belonging. And this is where Dr. Rao makes a connection that really surprised me when I read it.
Yeah.
He compares the 6-7 phenomenon to ultra-luxury fashion.
Which honestly feels like a huge stretch at first glance. I mean, a TikTok meme for middle schoolers is the same as a $10,000 handbag.
Structurally, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Think about the trend of quiet luxury. Think about the subtle red sole on a Christian Louboutin shoe, or the very specific leather weave on a Bottega Veneta bag.
Okay.
Nowhere on that shoe does it say Louboutin. Nowhere does it say, I am expensive.
Right. If you know, you know.
And if you don't know, you are excluded. That is the entire point. Luxury branding relies on exclusion to create desire. If everybody understands the logo, if everybody can access the meaning immediately, the value actually drops.
So a bunch of 13-year-olds yelling 6'7" across a classroom are operating on the exact same psychological hardware as a socialite carrying a Birkin bag.
It is the economy of status. Both groups are leveraging inside knowledge to create a hierarchy.
Wow.
And the ultimate lesson Dr. Rao draws from this is incredibly provocative for marketers. He says, a brand that means everything to everyone means nothing to anyone.
But that completely flies in the face of mass marketing, doesn't it? I mean, isn't the whole goal of marketing to reach everyone?
Not anymore. In a highly fragmented culture, the goal is to reach someone deeply.
Right.
And sometimes ambiguity, like dropping a random number like 6'7", is the engine for that depth because it forces the audience to do the work.
And when they do the work, they feel invested.
Exactly. When the audience does the work to crack the code, they feel more ownership over the brand.
But it requires that restraint we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to be misunderstood by the vast majority of people just to be loved by a tiny minority.
That is the trade-off. And the fast food chain wasn't willing to make that trade. They wanted the cool points, but they also wanted mass understanding.
And they ended up with neither.
Exactly.
So looking forward a bit, is 6'7" still a thing? Or are we already way too late to the party?
Well, the case study itself acknowledges the cycle of these things. By the time the fast food chain jumped on it, it was arguably already dying.
Right.
These viral signifiers have a very short half-life. 6'7" will pass, just like On Fleek passed, just like YOLO passed.
I gotta say, I still kind of miss YOLO.
Great was a classic. But the point is, the specific digits don't actually matter.
Right. It could have been Blue Pineapple or page 42.
Exactly. What matters is the structure underneath it, the floating signifier that allows a new generation to define itself against the generation that came before it. There will always be a new 6'7".
And the real lesson for us, whether we are, marketers trying to sell socks or just parents trying not to get laughed at by our teenagers, is about knowing when to just stay quiet.
It's really about trust. The brands that succeeded with this trusted their audience to be smart.
Right.
They didn't feel the need to hold the consumer's hand. They just dropped the signal and stepped back.
I do have to ask, though, before we wrap up.
Yeah.
As we sit here, two adults analyzing this phenomenon, dissecting the belonging meaning matrix, unpacking the semiotics of a TikTok trend.
I think I know exactly where you're going with this.
Have we just become the fast food chain?
Oh, absolutely.
Have we just become the cringe adults explaining the joke?
There is zero doubt about it. By dissecting the mechanism of the magic, we are entirely ruining the magic.
Right. If a teenager is listening to this deep dive right now, they're probably rolling their eyes so hard it physically hurts.
Oh, yeah. They're thinking, look at these boomers talking about semantic bleaching.
They're trying to understand 6'7". How embarrassing.
Totally.
But is there a way to talk about this stuff without killing it? Or is cultural analysis just always a murder weapon?
Oh, that is a deep philosophical question. But I do think there's a vital difference between participation and observation.
Okay, unpack that.
The fast food chain tried to participate. They tried to be part of the inside joke.
Right.
We are just observing. We're like the biologists looking at the frog. We aren't pretending to actually be the frog.
I really like that distinction. We aren't trying to be cool. We're just trying to understand how cool works.
Exactly. And honestly, trying to be cool is exhausting. Understanding it is much more sustainable.
Fair point. So here's your challenge for the week, listener. I want you to look around your own world. Look at your office, check your Slack channels, peek at your kids' group chats if you dare.
Good luck with that.
And look for the next floating signifier. Look for those words or phrases that seem to mean absolutely nothing on the surface, but somehow control the entire room.
And when you finally find one, maybe just don't say anything.
Don't try to leverage it. Don't put a corporate hashtag on it.
Just nod.
Just nod. Thanks for diving in with us today.
Always a pleasure.